DuckTales Season 2, Episode 9, The Outlaw Scrooge McDuck.
The Ottoman Empire! I just had to say it.
Yeah.
They had a
When
break.
When the going gets tough, I honestly don't know
what the
You know,
other half of that
I
is.
bet that empire will never fail.
Actually, it lasted a long ass time.
It did. For empire, as far as empires goes, it definitely did.
So, I mean, everything falls eventually, but it had a long run.
Yeah. A whole 5 years.
Huh?
I'm kidding.
Airplane?
Oh,
Well, he
yeah,
does
you know
live
that.
next to a military field or whatever.
It's not right next to it. It's not as much as when I was growing up. It was like a block or two away from it. So, and the high school was also like almost, it was really close. So like you'd have to constantly every once in a while you'd have to just stop class if the teacher was lecturing and just stop and wait for the plane to pass so you could actually hear them. But yeah, I imagine it's so the Outlaw Scrooge McDuck.
Okay, that whole Gizmo Duck concept is kind of so cliche time travel, cliche historical fiction. Like,
Yeah,
how
it's
every-
woodpunk.
yeah, like every show that takes place in like the Middle Ages or the Old West or something that has any kind of magic or sci-fi or anything to it will have some inventor inventing something that we use today completely anachronistically. Like Adventures of Sinbad, they had built a bicycle and a shower. And
It's like
was it Young Blades? He built like a bunch of stuff that completely anachronistic in modern day, even though it was basically next generation musketeers.
It's like, behold, I invented this iPhone out of wood.
Right? Pretty much. In this case, it's like Gizmo Duck. I am Contraption Duck, probably, because I think that's what he called it, a contraption.
I have splinters in my ass, Duck.
Yeah. Although I do appreciate the fact that they had Crack Shell in there again. And that you are annoyingly familiar.
It's like, why do I know you?
And we got we basically got Jaws in there
Jaws.
from Bond.
I'm not a Bond fan.
Bond, yeah. Well, Jaws' character, it's very big. He's a very big character, and all his teeth are metal.
Oh,
So he tends to bite things.
Steelbeak.
The only Bond villain I really know is Odd Job.
Well, his character, yeah. And that's because he's terrible in the N64 game. You don't get to play Odd Job. I think he was shorter than all the other characters. And so, when he was in the game, picking Odd Job was sort of a party foul.
Never played, never used N64.
How dare you?
I don't play disc consoles.
That wasn't a disc console. It
That
was
was
a cartridge console.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
N64 was
what?
that was the one before they went. I think that was before GameCube. Not GameCube is when they put the little discs, and that's when you had the actual like purple box sort of thing.
Oh, I don't know. The last video game console I have is Sega Genesis.
Eh, I got one
I
of
also
those too
have
somewhere.
NES, SNES, and Atari.
How old are you?
34?
Are you sure?
Yes.
Never mind. I own an Atari too.
It was my dad's. And I actually nicked it when I was a kid. And I had, because we had gotten an NES, and it's like, oh, we got an NES now. I'm going to put this in storage. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. And I stole it from the storage and kept it in the closet, which was my bedroom because my sister snores like a chainsaw. And I had an old black and white TV set up and a milk crate so that to make like a shelf. And on the bottom of it, I had the Atari, and my bed was made out of like old clothes and stuff and bedding. So I had like a little nest in the closet. And the black and white TV.
That sounds really comfy, actually.
It was. And so, and then during the day, I just covered the TV and the Atari up with a blanket so nobody noticed it.
Plus, you also probably had that closet smell.
It
Like that weird kind of wooden smell to some closets have.
Yeah, no, it actually smelled like burnt plastic because I'm a pyromaniac, so I would burn things. I once took one of my sister's My Little Pony like Gen 1 dolls or whatever it was. You know, the ones that look more like real horses and are creepy, nasty looking.
Uh-huh.
And I melted the stomach because it's hollow, and I filled it with bugs, and then I melted it closed so that while she was playing with it, she squeezed it and it popped and all the bugs like fell out on her and she screamed.
The bugs are dead, right?
No. They were by the time they got to her.
You are a horrible human being.
I am. I'm a fucking bully. I once took a crawfish, because we had a pet crawfish named Houdini because it would escape. And I put it in her bed so that, and then I snuck back to my closet, and about 10 minutes later, everybody was woken up with a scream, and she's like waving her hand, and it was clinging to her middle finger, like in a cartoon style. She's like, get it out!
What the hell? As a pet crawfish.
We weren't allowed to have normal pets. We had crawfish, frogs, fish, stuff like that.
Frogs and fish I could understand, but crawfish are for eating.
We would catch them in the creek near my aunt's house. And then we did have a frog that would escape, and this time it was not my fault. It actually escaped on its own, and it got under the radiator and it mummified, and I found it mummified. And so I left it there, and I threw one of my sister's like scrunchies or a ball or something of hers back there, so she would have to reach back to find it. And she found the thing, and she pulled it out, and she shrieked, and she was traumatized, and now she's terrified of frogs and toads.
You know, okay, I just have to say something. If I die and get reincarnated as an animal, please, dear God, do not let me be your pet.
I did not do that to that one. It escaped on its own.
I don't care. You and pets are bad luck. Either directly or indirectly.
Hey, I had Spikeolangelo for 7 years already.
Run, Spike, run!
And our cat, it's a turtle. It can't run.
Walk really fast!
And I don't have a beanie with a spinner to get it to let it fly. We also have a cat that has been we've had for 7 years, and I haven't killed that
yet.
I did not say yet.
Yeah, it's implied though.
So DuckTales.
Yeah,
Outlaw
DuckTales.
Scrooge McDuck. Yeah.
We got to see Goldy again, and I swear to Q, she's like River. She is basically River Song.
Yeah, she's River Song. If you ever wanted to know what it would be like if River Song, had more time with 10,
That's what it would be, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed Alex Kingston wasn't the voice, but because I mean they already had Catherine Tate as Magica, so having Goldie as Alex Kingston would have been perfect.
It's like, even as a duck, you still bother me.
I love that. Ew, is there going to be kissing and hand holding and and then it shows them arm wrestling.
Hello, sweetie. That would have been a great line. I would have loved to hear. I don't think she did. That would have been a great line.
It would have been, and I would love that if in season 3 they add the "Hello, sweetie."
Yeah, somewhere down the line.
No, it's got a southern accent. It'd be "Hello, sweetie."
I kind of want them to somehow work in the line spoilers.
Yes. It's like, what type
they're
of
telling a story from their past, and like, what? Weren't you this? One of them pipes up with, spoilers.
Yes.
Or
awesome.
What kind of devilish plan do you have in store for me? It's like, spoilers.
But anyway, yeah. So she buys up the entire town's stock of dynamite. Whereas,
that sounds like something River would do.
It's like, with all that mining going on underneath the town, that seems like that would be very disruptive to the ground above.
It seems like it would be very dangerous, especially since we saw that it's like in the middle of the town.
Yeah, it's
like
almost exactly in the middle of the street, in the middle of the main drag. It's like
that's gonna cave like everything in. Also, the whole that's one giant nugget. Why didn't they just dig close? You know, it's like that dude Rocker Duck was like he made a little more sense with it. Although I do agree, Rockefeather would have been a better name choice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My question is, how did he know where the giant nugget was?
Yeah, that is my question. It's like, how did he know and they didn't?
Yeah, it's not like they had metal detectors back then, and I don't think gold would be picked up by one.
And also, dude, that device was kind of anachronistic for the rest of it.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say I'm surprised Glumgold wasn't the villain, but Scrooge would not have met him yet.
He wasn't even born yet.
Yes.
We saw Glumgold was a baby.
God, Scrooge is old.
He is. He's a Time Lord, remember?
Apparently, I was like, well, maybe it struck me as like, well, maybe they have another character named Rockefeather, and they didn't want to have another one. And so, but it wouldn't matter that much because it was so out of time. But there is a Joan D. Rockefeather, one of the rich of Saint Canard, getting from the Darkwing Duck wiki.
Mm.
He owns the luxurious Rockefeather mansion.
Well, I mean, they did have a Cabrera already that was temporal displaced.
But
I mean, not technically, because he's just the descendant. But still.
Anyway. Yeah. And it's one of those things where, if they didn't hate each other, they'd probably make a pretty good couple. With all
I'm
the cooperation on the train. If they ever
they,
stopped hating each other, they might and she backstabbing him. They might actually make a cute couple.
they do kind of make a couple. They're kind of that love-hate type thing. It's kind of Catwoman and Batman style, you know?
Like, why would I help you? Because if there's one thing that we like more than hating each other, is gold.
Yep.
Yep. And he also with the loss of the Nugget, you got the biggest panning thing going on for. Is he the reason for the gold rush of '49 in the?
That would be fun.
I would not be surprised.
I loved how engrossed Louis had gotten with that. It's like, wait a second, how did you know what's going on with? And I actually have that same thought whenever we see like a from the character's perspective story, and it's like I get from a narrative standpoint why they do that, but how do you know? And why doesn't anybody ever bring that up?
It's called ad-libbing.
It's like, Jack got a Kindle Fire from his aunt in Florida for his birthday, and so now the Alexa thing is happening to him too.
Luckily for me, I changed my wake word to something else.
Good. He just doesn't know how to enunciate properly, so now Alexa thinks everything's Alexa.
Yeah. And don't forget, in Scrooge's story, we have the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, it's like, listen. Yeah. No, I'm listening. Which just makes me think of the episode of Ponies where Discord's just like, yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm listening.
What were we doing a Duck Show reviews? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that Louis is just like the epitome of lazy. But he called up Goldy at the end like, hey, how about we get together and do some damage? Because Uncle Scrooge would hate it.
Yeah, which imagine that's foreshadowing something fun.
Oh yes.
Spoilers.
Of course.
Now, one part I found really funny is when Scrooge finishes the story and Science Duck comes back. He's like, "What year is it?" And Scrooge is like, "Oh."
That makes a lot of sense. Which that entire scene, that entire episode just reeks of foreshadowing.
Yeah. I mean, but you've already watched this whole series, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you already know foreshadowing.
Yep. Which is why I will neither confirm nor deny any allegations.
It was a good episode, though.
That I will.
Disney Plus now.
It's what?
It's on Disney Plus.
It is, but Disney Plus fucked it up.
Why?
It's not in the right order.
Oh, shit.
Like, and they don't even, they have like 1, 2, the first episode is Whatever Happened to Duck.
Yeah, that's the first episode I watched. But it turns out it wasn't the first episode.
Yeah, because it's out of order.
God damn it.
Disney, I'm like, because I went to Disney Plus to watch the episode as well, because I'm like, oh, my Verizon gives me free Disney Plus for a year. I might as well use it.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'll use Disney Plus to watch it. They have Willow on there.
Ooh.
I'm like, I watched it until I fell asleep. So I fell asleep watching Willow last night. But yeah, they have Willow on there. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Like, you mean, Willow the movie, right?
Willow the movie with Warwick Davis as a wannabe wizard.
Okay, yeah. I love that movie. That was one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in, like, forever.
And just because I love it, I do not want them to make a remake of it.
Oh,
because
God.
it is.
Okay, I think we've basically expended all the DuckTales for the day, so...
Yeah, goodbye, duckies!